I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. When you purchase food, there is an order in which you should purchase food. But let's understand this first of all, ladies and gentlemen. When we go to our traditional grocery stores, please wrap your brain around the fact that what we're buying is not real food. Should I pause and let you think about that? Let that sink in for a moment. What you're buying in the grocery stores, the traditional grocery stores, is not real food. Now, are there any vestiges of real food in the grocery store? There is. But most of the real food that you find in the grocery store has been doctored up. It has been denatured. It has been compromised. And the reason these things have occurred is because you can't sell something that's not going to stay on the shelves long enough to sell. Every biological food that includes your meats, your breads, your vegetation that's in a grocery store, in its natural form, it's not going to last longer than 3 to 4 days on the shelf before it begins to decay or rot. That is why you see a lot of packaged, canned, bottled foods with a host of ingredients. Most of those ingredients are emulsifiers. They are preservatives. They are artificial colors. They are artificial flavors. They are sugars. They're salts. And the purpose of all of these different additives is to make your buying experience greater, which means so they taste good, so they look good, and so they last on the shelf. If biological food products were on the shelf 3 or 4 days, then the grocery store would go out of business, because surely they have more than a handful of customers. They have thousands of customers that frequent their stores. So the food has to stay on the shelves long enough to accommodate the needs of all of those customers. And all of those customers equal dollars. So the manufacturers put preservatives in virtually all of the food to keep the food on the shelves for weeks to accommodate all of the customers that come in. Because you can't put something fresh that's truly fresh from an organic standpoint. You can't put that on the shelf because it's not going to last a week in the store. So they have to put salt, they have to put other types of preservatives and other chemicals that retard the decay of that product. It's real simple. So I just wanted you to understand that. So when you go to the store, if you were to go shopping, grocery shopping that is, this is how you should shop. You do fresh out of the garden first. Now, of course, I'm talking about produce. Fresh out of the garden first. That's the best. Hopefully organic. Only your second choice, if you can't get the fresh out of the garden for some reason, your second choice should be frozen. Because basically, that's fresh out of the garden and then placed in a package and frozen. Then you do canned Canned goods should be the last thing that you should ever buy in terms of food, or buy them very minimally. And the reason that they're the last on the list is because they are the worst. Most canned foods, virtually all canned foods, are chock full of sodium and even other chemicals. But sodium, salt, you don't need that much salt in your body. Okay? And the other thing about canned goods is this. How many of you have ever been driving down the street, standing in a public park, standing outside of your home and saw a old rusted canned good? The can was rusted. If a can rust that once upon a time contained food, then how safe are canned goods in the grocery store? That's the same type of can that you find laying in a dump somewhere, or if you see it laying on a corner somewhere. Hopefully your neighborhood is not dirty, but if peradventure you see a can that's been rained on and is laying on the ground somewhere, it has began to rust. So if that can rust, then what could you possibly be consuming from a canned good that you purchased out of a grocery store? It's the same can. So what happens, ladies and gentlemen, is when they make the cans that contain the food product that we purchase from the grocery stores, they put a resin on the inside of the can. All you have to do is open the canned good that you may have at home and look on the inside. If you peel the outside label or paper off, you'll see that the outside of that can looks totally different in terms of color than the inside. The inside has been layered with a resin, and oftentimes that resin contains a hormone, estrogen, BPA, bisphenol A. Bisphenol A is a chemical that is not human friendly. And especially your acidic vegetables like tomatoes and canned oranges. When you buy those canned acidic vegetables and fruits, they help to break down that resin inside that can, and then it permeates throughout the vegetable and or fruit that's in that can, and it becomes part of what you're eating, and it's not good for you. So please understand this. Okay? That was all I had to say. Make sure that if you go to the grocery store, or when you go, the first thing should be on your priority in terms of quality of food should always be fresh, organic. If you can't get that for some reason, or they don't have what you want, you have to go to frozen, and let the canned goods be the last thing. And by all means, make sure that you continue to detox your body on a regular basis. Okay? And this will help to curb some of the possibilities of toxins continuing to be built up in our system, which are not supposed to be there in the first place. All right? We're biological. The things that we put in and on our bodies should be biological as well, because we are nature, and they should be nature as well. This is Brother Teacher. So long.